So like I said, recap, and then roll into the enjoyable time.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. Ready? Hello, Austin, Texas. You're listening to the Home Team with Troy and Wyatt, where we bring sports and money together for your education and entertainment. If you have any questions about anything we say today, please reach out to me at loansfromtroy.com or give me a call at 855-299-HOME. And as always, this segment is brought to you by Security National Mortgage, where we turn houses into homes by financing your American dream. Hey everyone, I just want to say I hope you haven't listened to the entire show today, because I have been sitting here with Ernesto Gerardo from the Military Millionaires.com, and it has been very, very educational. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you're doing a lot for the military veteran, especially the disabled military veteran, with all the different programs you offer through the Military Millionaires program. But you're teaching them about, and we're talking about real estate, how to use their VAs, finances, understanding, understanding. I mean, I think we covered like 8 concepts in the financing part. So definitely go back and pull that off of the podcast segment and listen to that money segment if you want to understand a lot. It's just enough to get started. And so when someone wants to get started in this sort of program, or knows a veteran that could reach out to you, the best way, of course, is to reach out to you on themilitarymillionaires.com.
Yes.
Also on Instagram, you get with Military Millionaire Method.
Yes, Military Millionaires Method.
Okay.
Yes. And yeah, I mean, those are the best ways. DM us. I mean, we have on the Instagram page, we have a bunch of veterans that we've done interviews with. They talk about their experience and how much of a pain in the butt it was, and they wish they had somebody guiding them and helping them along the way. And that's what we do. It's a 5-week course. We stick with you through the whole time to make sure you get your 100% rating, and then we help you invest in real estate. So we want to set that financial safety net for each and every veteran, for them and their families, and then they can focus on their mental health so they can enjoy the financial stability.
Excellent, guys. So like I said, reach out. Definitely, if you know someone that qualifies in that program, have them reach out. But if not, and also
it's also for just, I don't mean to cut you off, but it's also for active members and veterans.
Yeah,
it's not just veterans. Active
Yes.
member duties too, because the more that we can document the process as they're in the service, then it's easier for us when they get out.
Yeah, and then go to our Facebook page, which is the Home Team 512. I'll even try to see if I can find a link to your book, The Infinite Returns.
Yeah, if you go on Amazon, it's on Kindle.
Okay, perfect.
Infinite Returns.
Yeah.
It's a 2-time bestseller. It's black and gold. So, blue and gold, so you can't miss it.
Yeah, no, I'll put the link on our Facebook. That's the Home Team 512. Okay. So definitely, So I mean, and I always love that if it's on Kindle, especially because mine reads my Kindle too.
Yeah,
so I'm good.
Plus, there's an audiobook too. So
yeah, that's me. That's me. So I exercise in the morning and I go for a walk and all that sort of stuff. My old military style. I have a rucksack and do a long march in the morning with a bunch of weight on my back, and I listen to podcasts. So thank you so much for bringing that. But this is kind of it's always do your work before you have fun. So we've done our work, and so this is kind of the fun part. This is this is where we get to kind of show who we are and what our deal is. And you grew up, I don't want to say grew up, I guess, but you have a strong history in Muay Thai kickboxing.
Right.
I dabbled a little bit back when I was in the military, and I was in Korea, and so took Taekwondo and then did kickboxing on the side. I didn't do that well. I didn't stay that long at it, but it was still a lot of fun. And so I'm assuming that makes you a solid UFC fan.
Yeah, it does. I did grow up actually martial arts, boxing, and then Dutch kickboxing, and then Muay Thai kickboxing. As a matter of fact, periodically I'll come train here in Austin, and South Austin. There's a place called Warrior Family Muay Thai. Great coach, great team, great folks, local business. Please support them. Everybody's great there. The coaching is great, and this is from somebody that's lived in Thailand and trained with the Thais, and it's a great stadium to train with, and a great team rather. And yeah, I've big fan of the UFC. This weekend they're having 2 big fights. Kamar Usman is fighting. I think his name is a Russian guy. I forget his name. All these Russian guys are crazy.
It's always the Russians with the crazy names.
And then there's another pretty good fight on there. So that's happening this weekend. They're fighting in Abu Dhabi. I think it's 1 p.m. Central Time.
Okay. Yeah. No, I enjoy UFCU because it's still pretty real.
Right.
And I was watching. I was back in March. I was still competing and stuff when UFC won and all of that
Right.
back, and then the Gracie Jiu Jitsu was taking the hold of the world and stuff like that. So yeah. So I'm kind of old school in that aspect. It's a lot of fun. It's they're real. It's not boxing. A lot of boxers usually by the time they get there, they're more there for the display of the fight than they are for the fight. Not UFC. They're there for the fight. They may do some showing and stuff like that. So Connor was really good at that, but they like to fight, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I like team sports and stuff as well. But being that I was a martial artist, I mean, there's no better self-development and mental training that you can do than being a martial artist, especially a striking sport. I mean, jiu-jitsu as well, but these martial arts really make you like have that focus, and they humble you, and they give you perspective that say, okay, well, I need to better myself in these areas, which translate into business, which translate into relationships. So it's a great overall sport, in my opinion. And for many years I was a coach. I owned my own gyms. I owned a couple of gyms in California, and parents would come into my gym and they'd say, hey, my kid's being bullied. What do I do? And so I'm taking a 12-year-old, 11-year-old kid, a girl or boy, and they're coming in and they're saying very low confidence, very low self-confidence, but through martial arts and through hanging out, with people that are like us, a bunch of savages that are paying to beat each other up, right? they develop this extreme confidence, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Very fast, because there's nothing more scary in life than somebody standing across from you trying to beat you up, right?
Yeah.
Like talking about a deal or trying to raise money or whatever. That's nothing. Who cares about that? That's just an exchange of information. But somebody trying to beat you up, that's the mental self-confidence that you need to have that's going to translate from a young person's life into the future, right? So
oh yeah,
that's
no,
what I did.
I mean, martial arts changed my entire life. I mean, I was late to it. I was middle teens. By the time I was middle teens, I was already kind of a little bit of a troublemaker. I had a chip on my shoulder and things like that. And once it's funny because once I learned really how to fight, how to defend myself, all of a sudden I didn't fight anymore.
Right.
It was the weirdest thing in the world. I kind of joined it because like that. I was kind of the skinny kid, and I grew, like 7 inches one year, but I didn't gain a pound of weight, so I was always the easy target, and I'm kind of loud when I talk, so I'm an easy target, and so I got into martial arts really because I wanted to fight these people that were bullying me, and then once I learned how to fight, it didn't matter. They could bully. I'm like, what? It's the weirdest thing.
It really is, and that's what the kids. When I was training them, that's exactly the same experience that they would go through, because they would come in very timid, very shy, and then after I have to communicate with them a certain way, because I can't communicate with an 11 and 12-year-old the same I can with a 19-year-old, 18-year-old savage who's in high school, just left high school, wants to be in the UFC. He's ready to run through a wall if I tell him to, right? I don't have to tell him, motivate him, right? Even though the punch is the punch, the kick is the kick, the stance is the stance, I have to communicate the same techniques differently to both individuals, because they're both mentally in a different place.
Absolutely.
But I take that young person and I bring them up and I build their self-confidence, so when they go to school, when they have conflicts, they're like, man, whatever you say doesn't make sense, or it doesn't matter, because I hang out after school with the most violent people on the planet. Who gives a shit what you say?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's totally that way. And the best part, there's also this amazing story that just broke that I think is pretty funny, right? So I'm so sad that Wyatt is not here to hear this story because I love this part of it. But so the University Texas A&M Fighting Aggie football team, right? They had the fans always have high hopes, right? Very seldom, maybe 3 times in my entire life has it lived up to anything close. But this year they had the same thing. They're not doing that well. They're barely above 500, and they're not doing that well. And so they have decided, or they have published an article that the reason why the football team is not doing so well is because they're on this diet, this grain-based diet.
Oh my goodness.
And they're farting too much, and they're having fart exhaustion, and they can't play the full 4 quarters because they're exhausted from farting the first 3 quarters.
Which team is this?
The Texas Aggies.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, grains and all that stuff is real. I mean, that's a lot of inflammation, right? When I was teaching fighting, I mean, a lot of it was keto, carnivore. A lot of it was like the Dolce diet. He's one of the number one. He's the number one nutritionist in the UFC. I mean, it's real. I mean, humans are not designed to eat massive amounts of grain or soy. We're designed to eat animal products. I mean, for the vast majority of people, that's what sustains them. Only a small amount of people can really sustain themselves off of a plant-based diet.
Right.
And if you look at all the UFC champions, all the professional athletes, a very, very small single-digit minority of them are only plant-based.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, absolutely. But so if you I guess my question is, I think because there's 85 guys, right? So if you're in the first 5 rows, over there on the sidelines, you're in the first 5 rows. That's just got to be tough over there, for the poor Aggies.
Plus in the locker room too.
Oh, I know.
Oh man.
I'm just, in the bus ride from the hotel to the thing, there's 40 guys in a bus. Oh.
And they're a bunch of college dudes. So
I know.
So they're trying to stink each other out.
I know, right? I mean, just poor Aggies.
They have a Skunk of the Day award. Who wins?
Absolutely. And with that, though, the Longhorns, just kind of wanted to throw this back out there, but the Longhorns did, that last time they had played, they didn't play that well, and so they are looking to reset expectations. So I'm excited about the second half of the football season. I think that the Longhorns have a good, solid chance to run the table. I think every school they're playing, they can beat. Now, whether or not they come to the game to beat them, I don't know that answer, but they do have the physical talent, which they haven't in years. And so it's very nice to see this. And the good thing is that right now we don't have to listen to the Longhorns not doing well because they're gassing themselves out.
What's their record right now?
They are 5-1.
Okay,
and so if they run the tables, they play Oklahoma again.
There you go.
And so they defend that loss. Things could go real well. So we will see. I mean, like I said, it's a great time to be a Longhorn fan. It's a smelly time to be an Aggie fan.
Well, go Horns.
That's right. Hey everyone, you've been listening to the Home Team with Troy and Nut White. We hope you've enjoyed what you've heard today so far. If you have any questions, please reach out to me at loansfromtroy.com or give me a call at 855-299-HOME. And as always, this segment is brought to you by Security National Mortgage, where we turn houses into homes by financing your American dream. And do not forget to reach out to Ernesto Gerardo at themilitarymillionaires.com. We will see you next week. Hook 'em horns.